Hi! Before I delve deep into this video, I want to share that I do have a Neocities page, and even though this is what it currently looks like, I am going to remake it, and I was actually hoping to get it finished before this video went up, but unfortunately I didn't. But anyway, I love using Neocities, and my new website at some point should be cool. Thanks. The World Wide Web is a fascinating place. Much like a lot of technology, the internet saw rapid growth in the 90s and 2000s, and I was there for a lot of it. Experiencing it from the comfort of my own home, I mean. Google launched when I was 2 years old, I experienced early YouTube, I often heard at school that places like Facebook and MySpace were the places to be. I remember excitedly chatting with my friends on MSN, using a lot of emojis and spamming nudges, i.e. causing your friend's screen to shake in the most annoying way imaginable. I was in love with virtual worlds like Club Penguin and hooked on many Flash games, accessing them on the family computer in the corner of the living room, until I finally got a laptop of my own and it was the most wondrous feeling ever. Sometimes I would even secretly go on Flash game websites at school until they were inevitably blocked. But for perspective, I also didn't take a phone to school until I was a teen. It's crazy to me that children have access to the internet so young and easily nowadays. It used to be something that you had to put aside time for, something you were excited to explore and use when you got home, alongside video games or reading or playing outside or being creative or all of the above. The internet was an extra option. It wasn't necessarily part of you 24/7. The internet now has over 1 billion websites, it's faster than it's ever been, and much of the world's population access it daily. Scarily so. Actually logging off isn't as common of a practice anymore, and if I were to think in a melancholic way about it, I feel that some of the creativity that came with web design has been a bit lost.
They forced me to learn computers at school, and I loathe them. They're nothing but cold, heartless lumps of plastic and silicone. I detest the polymer putrescence of the uncaring keyboard, the blank, cycloptic stare of the monitor. They are the enemies of true art.
Truth be told, I do still love the internet. I really do. I think it's incredibly fascinating, even if there are as much negatives as there are positives. Social media is amazing yet often toxic. There are endless communities and limitless information at our fingertips. It didn't used to be that easy, and to have so much accessible from a screen is mind-blowing. I don't remember specifically when we got the internet at home, but I do remember the integration of computer programs and the internet for lessons at school. It was a weird yet wonderful time to grow up, and it all happened exceedingly quickly. Going from paper and pen to using clip art and making PowerPoint presentations and, oh my god, this Story Maker program? I just unlocked a core memory. Basically, I am already extremely nostalgic for many things. 15 years ago, the way I accessed the internet was incredibly different. The way it felt now feels like a hazy dream. And will I have a similar feeling in another 15 years? Let's not think about that too much. I didn't quite experience the experimental world of individual website creation with places like Neocities, but even just looking into it, you can really feel the creativity and fun there. And this is what I want to delve into first. Late 90s and early 2000s web design. I also want to point out Web Design Museum, a great resource for looking at the designs of websites over the years. Of course, going all the way back to the beginning, everything was, to put it simply, very simple. Websites were at the core only text, and obviously websites still do feature text, but this is literally just text and hyperlinks. But it had to start somewhere. Then images started being added, and that's where things really took off. In 1995, you can really see more design aspects starting to trickle in, and I would say the late 90s and early 2000s really was the time for experimentation with technology, websites and video games especially. Funnily enough, the book I got for my last video, 3D and Webmasters, has a section for web design. The book is from 1998, and for example, it showcases Fantastic Forest. National Geographic's first online module for kids will excite users of all ages as they explore the first virtual forest on the internet. For Wired magazine, the site focused on providing a taste of the colourful, dense visual experience that the magazine offers. Fabris Lane, a leading sunglasses manufacturer, essentially got awards for being a cool site. Even Guinness, where they, quote, made sure everyone could use the site by incorporating Shockwave and JavaScript, while also including an unenhanced vanilla version. Basically, all around there was this freshness, I think. And staying on books, I find ones about the internet from this era to be so entertaining. In order to begin exploring the internet, you can use a computer that is hooked up to a telephone line with a modem. That's all very useful and all, but look at this mouse. Anyway, the book is a prime example of the excitement of the internet and the new possibilities it provided. This book really focuses on the way you could connect and share and communicate and learn and have fun. Naturally. And I feel like the early 2000s of web design just involved more fun, with interesting layouts, a range of colours, and then the 2010s went more towards shiny, clean, sleek, a lot of white backgrounds, clear and bold menus. Perhaps this was to make websites appear more serious or professional or something, I'm not really sure, but the late 90s and early 2000s definitely had this intriguing artistry about it, something that made you want to delve deeper. Each page could hold something new for you. I mean, look at the difference between the pages showing 2001 to 2003 here and the page for 2014 to 2020. There's a clear difference in design. And of course, the trends of the time affects us a lot too, as it still does, but if you are like me, something about this particular era is incredibly nostalgic. The Nintendo website from around 1996 had a fairly basic layout. Backgrounds with a single colour, paragraphs of text and information, a few images here and there. But then look at 1998! This is so fun, I love this. You just can't go wrong with primary colours and rounded backgrounds and borders. The text also has this boldness, and this reminds me of magazines from the era too. And to me it looks like there was more effort put into colours and shape choice to fit the theme with whatever they were trying to advertise. Video game websites were fun, bold, exciting, the exact kind of words you want to associate with gaming. Then we move on to 2001, and this menu text reminds me of the Habbo Hotel text. It's basically just very satisfying. It's more of a compact design overall, but there's so much to look at within this. There's some subtle details too that just brings it all together in a cohesive way, like Mario saying welcome to Nintendo.com at the top, the cute little icons, the horizontal menu on the side, and this is far from a boring place to be. I very much appreciate graphics, like little graphics, and the range of different layouts, and I also feel like websites changed and updated more often. Like, look at Cartoon Network. It has basically looked the same for over 10 years by now, which I understand the advantage, like you're not going to suddenly be confused about where pages are, and consistency is certainly a positive trait. And when it's something for your brand or website, I guess changing it up too often isn't optimal. However, the difference between 2003 and 2004 is so dramatic, I can't help but love it. 2000 to 2001 also has a big change, and I don't know, I enjoy that. Obviously, at the time web design was developing and the ceiling was getting higher for what you could create. Disney was the same, the website was different, new and cool each year until the 2010s, where it suddenly changed into a lot of squares, a white background, and everything feels very squeaky clean. Not necessarily bad, but a little empty, less creative maybe. This 2001 version is really magical with the stars in the background, the blue colour scheme, the fun font in the menus. Nothing is really too in your face either, it's just a chill, fun place to explore, and I can't describe exactly what people thought of this at the time, but I know that I found this kind of website magical. I would hope there'd be a game to play or a video to watch, and look at this map. I miss website maps, if that makes sense. And sound effects. Sound effects were also the best part. Sega also confirms this theory of websites turning to the colour white instead of whatever colour scheme they originally had. The 1996 Sega website is so charming. I just like how the games are listed at the side, the Sonic images they have are super cute, and the website is brandished with text with underlines to signify hyperlinks. For a bit of contrast, we also have the PlayStation website. The 2000 version is pretty cool. I mean, look at the buttons used here, very iconic. The background clearly has this repeating pattern. There's a page for all games, which is crazy. This is amazing, also for the simple fact that the style changes depending on the genre you click on. These were the kinds of websites you could actually spend a lot of time just browsing, and of course a lot of games and companies had their own individual websites too. The Sims, Silent Hill, Tony Hawk. Look at this website for Final Fantasy. Even websites like Lego and The Simpsons were super awesome and unique. There's also this Hot Wheels one where 1997 has peak design where it looks like packaging. Xbox as well, which has always been very much on the green side of things. The 2000 version has this awesome looping graphic showing off Xbox and its games. This is the exact kind of thing I miss, and I just remember thinking how cool these kind of things were. Staying on green, you could argue that Nickelodeon's website was maybe too green. Blindingly so. Once it became possible for more people to access the internet, the amount of sites made kept growing and growing. Suddenly the web could be filled with any kind of website you could think of. I would not be surprised if many are lost to time now though, some becoming solely just a memory in somebody's mind. But luckily, people like sharing what's on their mind, so on places like Reddit and forums you can find a lot of interesting stuff. For example, there's FogCam, the oldest continuous operating webcam in the world, launched in 1994 and still up to date. This sort of website used to be the most exciting thing on the internet, I think, and here are also some amusing pics from said webcam. Zombo was sort of a joke website of sorts, apparently useless but brilliant. Someone on Reddit explains that the site made exaggerated claims about how amazing it was. It seems like at first it is loading and leading up to something, but eventually you realise there is nothing more to it, and it's just kind of this joke. It just continuously looks like it's loading, basically. Additionally, the only limit is yourself. By using your imagination, the site really can be anything you want. After all, there's nothing there to tell you otherwise.
This is ZomboCom. Welcome to ZomboCom. You can do anything at ZomboCom. Anything at all. The only limit is yourself. Welcome to ZomboCom. Welcome to ZomboCom.
Next is MapQuest, the first commercial online mapping service, and I love the original look of the website. The font is satisfying, and I'm pretty sure people would get up what they wanted on the website and print it out and use it that way. Netscape was a web browser which unluckily lost the first browser war against Internet Explorer, which is a shame because I found the amazing Netscape fish cam. Here in JavaScript land at Netscape we have a large fish tank with some cameras pointed at it. We're not exactly sure why, it just seemed like a fun thing to do. And this website seems kind of humorous as well. Even about this fish that had sadly departed, it says, "No foul play is suspected." And staying on animals, there's Kitty Cam, where there was a new image every 2 minutes and you had to hope to see a cat. And I'm sure that there were numerous websites of people just showing off their animals or pets, and I really don't blame them. I'm sure there's websites still like that out there, but I think this is now just saved more for social media. But hey, surprise! Here's a website where you can disguise a fruit or vegetable. Here's a website all about roller coasters, and here is this Penny Juice website, which let's just say has an outlandish style. And to be honest, I can't really go through too many, but I did find a Kids and Family Yellow Pages from 1999, and it really proves that by the late 90s and early 2000s, the internet was already full of websites to browse in each category. And alongside that, there were images to download, wallpapers to download, sometimes even music and videos. For example, the American McGee's Alice website has some really cool wallpapers. I remember when I was really young, I would find printouts or colouring pages from shows I liked. Virtual worlds, such as Club Penguin, also usually had a bunch of wallpapers, and don't worry, I'll come back to virtual worlds in a bit. People also used to decorate their online spaces with navigation buttons, blinkies, stamps, and Gift Cities is a great place to look if you miss those kind of things. Clicking on the graphics as well takes you to the original websites. And sometimes the most random gifts will take you to the most random websites, but that's the beauty of it all. I thought I would type in a few different words and then share my findings. It's very easy to find people's old personal pages for photos like weddings, holiday photos, baby photos, and it must have been really cool when it was this new thing to create a page and store your memories and also link with other web pages via web rings. I found some pages that have a lot of collections of blinkies. I found some Mickey Mouse gifts, and this one takes you to a website which says "Welcome to our rental villa." Decorating your website with charming graphics like these were really what made so many old websites charming and personalised. It's kind of funny that there are places on the internet already that have collections of pages that used to be on the internet. I mean, huge respect to the people who put the work in to archive and collect pages like this. Especially Hamster Dance. I also can't believe there's already been this rise and fall of Flash games in my lifetime. Off the top of my head, there are a couple of websites I used to use a lot. Miniclip, 76 Moo Cow, a game, Addicting Games, Congregate and Newgrounds were popular too. I didn't use those as much, but Armour Games rings a bell, Cool Math Games, and then there were also games on websites like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Barbie, and I remember playing on websites like Polly Pocket. It was just amazing. Honestly, most websites at the time you could go and there would be something interactive to do. I feel that this kind of thing has been replaced by apps, phones, social media, video games. I personally remember playing a range of games at different stages of my life, including this diving game, which had amazing music, FYI. 8-ball pool, stick RPG, ping pong, which was simple yet addictive, line rider, bubble trouble, block saws, monkey kick, base jumping, colour mixing factory, the impossible quiz, happy wheels, and co-op. Of course. I also used to play this game based on the UK TV series Raw, and I definitely played the game way more than I watched the show. And I really want to mention Operation Youth Club, which I'm very grateful I remember. You had to run a youth club and aim for success within 100 days. I adored the style of this. Pet Society was another one I was addicted to, which was available to play on Facebook. I miss it a lot. Alongside Flash games, you could also access virtual worlds and MMORPGs on Miniclip. And this is the perfect segue into my next topic, virtual worlds. At one point on Miniclip, you could access Our World, Spine World, RuneScape, Free Realms, Pixie Hollow, Dofus, Pet Park, Spark City World, and even Club Penguin. I used to play Club Penguin the most, which is no surprise to anyone really. I also loved Habba Hotel and Moshi Monsters. I didn't go overboard with exploring as much as possible. I was likely playing Roller Coaster Tycoon anyway. I was a little bit scared of socialising on the internet when I was younger, and part of me still is. I remember my friend in high school asking me to try IMVU with her, and I just did not understand what was going on. It confused me to no end. I remember standing around and then logging out awkwardly. Essentially, my usage of virtual worlds was not that diverse. I never really played Neopets, Animal Jam, Movie Star Planet, Webkins, Toontown. I really wish I played Toontown. I'm actually surprised how many of these websites I found still up and running, and even if some have been discontinued, there are so-called rewritten or revived versions which you can still access, so it's not all completely dead, which is cool. The internet is useful for something after all. I also found this really useful master list on issue.com from back in 2010. It lists a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Unfortunately, I can't go through absolutely all of them, but here's a few I looked up. First, Cybertown. This one has certainly been lost a bit to time. The homepage for Cybertown has always caught my eye, a virtual world that launched in April 1995. What you're seeing on screen is a community-run, fan-made restoration that was created to preserve Cybertown, within the era before paid membership was introduced. It's super cool. From this and images alone, you can really sense how ahead of its time this virtual world was. You can still access the homepage and info pages on Internet Web Archive, so I looked at one of the earliest preserved pages, 1996. The purpose of Cybertown is to create a virtual community where people can have fun, be entertained, learn things, and explore the best of the Earth Internet. Cybertown was shut down in 2012. Active Worlds began in 1995 and it's still up and running. On a 99 version of the website it explains, "Welcome to the home of the most powerful and most popular interactive software on the net. The Active Worlds scalable universe boasts hundreds of thousands of users and thousands of kilometers of virtual territory. Get the free software and become part of this growing universe. Build your virtual home in cyberspace and chat with friends." A1 Now really intrigues me. It seems to be a little bit obscure. The website is ridiculously cute though. There's fun banners, adorable characters, chats, games and cribs, all apparently without the negative connotations associated with the common online experience. I'm not really sure how they avoided that one. I kind of doubt it, but maybe at the time they thought it would be possible. Nothing wrong with being optimistic. Honestly, the whole website makes me wish I experienced this at least in some way. And look, there's some cool Christmas e-cards as well to top it all off. I also found Guppy Life, and from what I can see, it was an online universe targeted at tween girls all about creating and maintaining relationships, whilst also learning to care and love for their guppy, a cute little virtual pet with apparently a mind of its own. How sweet. Some of the buildings are quite retro-futuristic as well, and I'm not sure how popular it was, but it seems to be a Danish game, so perhaps it's more well known in Scandinavia. It's kind of hard to find lots of information on some of these, but when it comes to Lasuni, there's quite a lot you can read. In this post, the creator mentions how they were inspired by Habbo Hotel and Animal Crossing, which is not a bad combination if I do say so myself. While at university, I built and ran a free-to-play online community, growing it to over 25,000 players, and it helped me to fund my computer science degree. The initial version of Lasuni was launched in 2009 and it ended in 2015. Staying around the 2010s, we have Sociotown, and the style of this feels very nostalgic as well. Just look at these avatars. A lot of screenshots are still available to look at, and the videos too, and I love the drama in this video. I know that there's quite a few YouTube videos on virtual world dramas. I avoided it like the plague when I was a kid. Of course, minus the drama, many people saw virtual worlds as an escape. And when it comes to secret builders, there's quite a few comments on YouTube and Reddit and such of old players reminiscing over the times they had playing, such as when they would host parties, when they had their first internet relationship, visiting the North Pole apparently. Children learn through immersing themselves in the stories, themes and concepts from the best in literature, arts and humanities. They will interact with famous historical and fictional figures and be introduced to content and characters from world civilization and the great thoughts and ideas of human creativity. There was no announcement of Secret Builder's closure, but it seems to have been dead since about 2021. It honestly was no surprise that a lot of these virtual worlds would also try to be educational and tailored towards children, but also some were just more for fun. Fantage, where it seems that the main highlight was to fly around on hoverboards, and yeah, this banner is also super stylish. It reminds me a little of MapleStory or like dress up games or something. I love this question in the FAQ though. I am a quiet person, can I play without chat? That question was for kids like me. Then there's Swinky, which focused on turning yourself into a 3D image, which was all the rage back then. Swinky started in 2006 and lasted 20 years. And there was apparently over 30 million users, and apparently it was also covered with ads. Swinky is a good way to make friends and chat with people you would most likely never meet in the real world, which I guess was the appeal of virtual worlds. Others include Dizzywood, which launched in 2007, Chobots, which seems to be quite an obscure one, released in 2008. A lot of people seem to have fond memories of Millsberry. Did you know Coca-Cola had an online chat game called Coke Music? Disney 2 with Disney's Virtual Magic Kingdom, and The Sims Online from 2002. The number of virtual worlds that existed was way more extensive than I think people realise. A lot of them are sadly no longer around, but there are still ones up and running in one way or another in current day. Wizard 101 and Pirate 101 are on Steam free to play, which is really nice. Wizard 101 was originally released in 2008 by King's Isle Entertainment, an MMORPG where you take on the role of a student wizard. Pirate 101 was their second game, and unsurprisingly, you play as a pirate in this one. Neopets is celebrating its 25th birthday as I write this. First launched in 1999, it allows users to own virtual pets and explore Neopia. Animal Jam is still accessible, originally released in 2010. Webkins as well, originally released in 2005. You can play the original classic version or an updated 3D version. Second Life is still up, which began life in 2003. A virtual world where you literally can have a second life. You can have a home, relationships, all the good stuff. Movie Star Planet seems to be an app now. Furcadia is one that has been running for a ridiculously impressive time, as it started in 1996. Woo's World seems to still be up, and Gaia Online, founded in 2003. As I said, Habbo Hotel was one of my favourites. You can play a newer version, and recently they released an official restored classic version. It would be cool to see more virtual worlds restored like this. Bin Weevils has a rewritten version, and Toontown, which I did try, and I can see why this game was and still is loved by many. Also, when I was inputting a name, it randomly shuffled to Biscuit after 2 or 3 clicks, which is actually kind of creepy, but fitting. And last but not least, Club Penguin. Club Penguin has had multiple revived versions over the years, and one is still up at the moment. The style of Club Penguin is absolutely unmatched. The puffles, the artwork, the clothing, the igloos, the music, the events, it was all so special, and it comes as no surprise to me that it was my favourite. It was so popular, in fact, there was a lot of merchandise such as comics, cards, toys, I even own some myself. Going around on the map in the game and then chilling in the coffee shop or in an igloo or playing one of the mini games, I looked forward to it every single day. I know I've missed out on so many, so please do let me know what your favourite websites, virtual worlds, MMOs, flash games were. I would love to know, and yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you if you are a regular now here. It really means a lot to me. Check out my Patreon if you want, and thank you to my current patrons on there. You're awesome, but everyone's awesome. Thank you for watching. See you again soon, hopefully. Bye.